Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. This is the first module of the course Hajj and Umrah. In this module, we will cover 5 topics. The first of them is introducing these worship rituals. The second would be their history. The third, we will study their objective. The fourth, we will point out the days in which these worship rituals are offered. And finally, we shall also discuss the sites of these worship rituals. So starting off with the basic introduction to these worship rituals, let me read out how the Quran describes the ritual of Hajj. This is Surah Hajj, verses 27 to 29, and the words are, وَأَذِّنْ فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ زَامِرٍ يَأْتِينَ مِنْ كُلِّ فَجٍّ عَمِيقٍ لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ وَيَذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْلُومَاتٍ أَلَا مَا رَزَقَهُم مِّن بَهِيمَةِ الْأَنْعَامِ فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا وَأَطْعِمُوا الْبَائِسَ الْفَقِيرَ ثُمَّ لْيَقْضُوا تَفَثَهُمْ وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ وَلْيَطَّوَّفُوا بِالْبَيْتِ الْعَتِيقِ. And proclaim the Hajj among the people. They will come to you on foot and on the backs of lean camels and from distant mountainous ways, so that they are able to reach places of benefit, and on a few appointed days invoke the name of God over their cattle which He has bestowed them. So when you slaughter them, eat their flesh and feed the deprived beggar. Then let the pilgrims cleanse themselves of their dirt and fulfill their vows and circle the ancient house. It is in response to this proclamation of Hajj that was made centuries ago by Abraham, that in response to it, when we utter the words Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, we actually respond to this proclamation, and in multitudes we arrive at the site of the Baytullah. The Almighty has informed us that ever since the creation of mankind, Satan has declared war on mankind, and he has said that he'll lead them astray from all sides. In fact, in Surah Araf, the words which have been cited by the Almighty, which Satan has said, he actually said these words at the creation of Adam. He said, because you have led me into sin. I mean, this is what Satan is telling the Almighty. Because you have led me into sin, he declared, I will waylay your servants who are on your straight path, then spring upon you from the front and from the rear, from their right and from their left. Then you will find the greater part of them ungrateful. So this was a challenge thrown by Satan, and we know from the Quran in Surah Araf again that this challenge was accepted. So therefore, we are now at war with the greatest enemy of the Almighty, which is Satan. And the ritual of Hajj actually symbolizes this war against Satan. So this ritual is basically a symbolism, and this symbolism is we basically devote ourselves to the Almighty. We dedicate ourselves for the Almighty, and we are, when we offer Hajj, we symbolize this war against Satan, as shall become clear as we move along. As far as Umrah is concerned, it is a mini Hajj. It is also called Hajjul Asghar, and it is a compact Hajj. It does not actually symbolically in any way represent the war on Satan as the Hajj itself does. It is basically a worship ritual in itself. Now, as far as the history of Hajj and Umrah is concerned, this is the second topic we will cover. It begins with this declaration of Abraham, which we just read in Surah Hajj. And in response to this declaration, tribes and families and people from all over the world started to come in multitudes to offer this great worship ritual. In the times of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, we know that Hajj was being offered in its form. I mean, there were innovations that had been introduced, but basically in following the Abrahamic practice, the Hajj was being observed. And consequently, at one place in the Quran, it has been pointed out, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ عَلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. And pilgrimage to the house of God has always remained a duty to God. It's always a duty to God for all those who have the capacity to make the journey, which means that if they have the capacity, their health, their financial resources, the circumstances are such that they can observe this worship ritual, then it is incumbent upon them. It's mandatory upon them once in a lifetime. So yes, the Arabs had introduced a lot of innovations, but there were few people amongst the Arabs, which we know from history, who knew still the exact right methodology. So we know that Jubair ibn Mut'im, he has pointed out that he saw the Prophet actually before he was called upon prophethood. He saw him in the field of Arafat, and he said that, well, the Quraysh, they generally don't go to Arafat and they return from Muzdalifah. So he knew that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he had seen him in Arafat, that, well, at least he knew that Arafat is a place that has to be observed. I mean, the standing of Arafat, or the Waquf of Arafat, has to be observed. So we know that this is something which people amongst the Arabs also knew. So in other words, we can say that when the Quran directed its addressees to offer Hajj, it was not an unintroduced practice. People knew its bounds, they were fully aware of its importance. What the Quran has actually done is it has only corrected some of the innovations and deviations and revived Hajj in its true Abrahamic form. And actually, these rituals of Hajj, or the manasik of Hajj, have been transmitted to us from Prophet Muhammad through the tawatur and ijma of the companions, which means their consensus and practical perpetuation. And no additional alteration has been made in any of these rites ever since then. Now, this brings us to the third topic that we will cover today regarding this course. So this relates to the objective of Hajj and Umrah. So as far as the objective of Hajj and Umrah is concerned, it is the same as its essence. And this is acknowledgement of the blessings of the Almighty, affirmation of His Tawheed, and a reminder of the fact that after embracing Islam, we have devoted and dedicated ourselves to Him. So this is basically the objective and also the essence of Hajj and Umrah. So a comprehension of these things is called benefits. I mean, the words used by the Quran are manafi'. So the words used are liyashhadu manafi'a lahum. So the benefits of the places of Hajj. When we comprehend these things, that this is the objective and essence of Hajj, we actually get to know that as far as this comprehension is concerned, they are called benefits of the places of Hajj. So the words, as I said, are liyashhadu manafi'a lahum, so that they are able to reach the places of benefit. Now, as far as this objective is concerned, you would agree, many people would agree, that that the slogan that every believer is required to proclaim as he enters the house of God, it beautifully signifies this objective. And that call is labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata lak wal mulk la sharika lak. So I am in your presence, O Lord, I am in your presence. I am in your presence, so no one is your partner. I am in your presence. Gratitude is for you, and all blessings are yours, and sovereignty is for you only, and no one is your partner. So you see how how we thank the Almighty, how we proclaim His oneness, His Tawheed, and we actually, when we say that I am present, we devote ourselves to the Almighty. So these are the objectives of Hajj and Umrah, and as I said, they are beautifully depicted in this call. Next we come to the days of Hajj and Umrah. This is the third topic that we're going to cover. So no time has been fixed for the ritual of Umrah. It can be offered throughout the year, but as far as the Hajj is concerned, it has to be offered from the 8th to the 13th of Zul-Hajj. And this is the only time when the Hajj can be offered. So some people have to reach the city of Mecca from all over the world. I mean, this is the case. I mean, it's not always people who are around or living in Mecca who have to do so. So in order to safeguard their journey, the Almighty has prohibited any aggression or any war in these months, and they are called in 4 months, and these are called the sacred months, the Ashhurul Hurum, and these are Rajab. Then we have Zulqa'dah, Zulhajj, and Muharram. So Zulqa'dah, Zulhajj, and Muharram, they are recommended for Hajj. I mean, this is the time when Hajj is going to take place, so that they can come and travel with ease. And Rajab is the month for Umrah. So these 4 months, whenever they arrive, warfare has been totally prohibited in them. Next we come to the sites of Hajj and Umrah. So because of the fact that these sites are situated at some distance from Mecca. So therefore, we have to have knowledge of these sites. You can also see the sites will be displayed before you on your screens. A visual of these sites in the form of a slide is there before you. So these sites, before we actually introduce them, they are called the Sha'air of God. And Sha'air is a plural of the word Sha'ira. And the word Sha'ira actually means a symbol. And a symbol is something which, by its very name, it symbolizes some deeper reality. So Sa'i or Tawaf or the things that we will just describe and these sites, they are not to be taken per se. They stand as symbols. They symbolize certain bigger realities than merely the observance of these rites. So just as we know that our flag, a national flag of a country, it's not merely a piece of cloth. It symbolizes something much greater. It symbolizes the unity of a nation. In a very similar way, the Hajj itself and its sites and the rites that we will observe during this ritual, they are all symbolic. And if we understand the symbolism, which will be discussed in a later module, the philosophy and the symbolism, we will see how great this worship ritual is. So starting off, we know that there are certain places which are appointed before we enter the precincts of the Haram, and this, of course, this is the sacred place, the precincts of Haram, in which we have to enter in Ihram. And the places from which it is essential that people wear Ihram before they cross those places are called the miqat. And the plural is mawaqit. So these are 5 in number. For people who are coming from Medina, their miqat is Zul Hulayfa. And for people who are coming from Yemen, it is Yalamlam. For those who are coming from Syria and Egypt, it is Juhfa. And for those who are coming from Najd, it is Qarn. And for those who are arriving from the east, the miqat is Zatul Irq. So these are the 5 miqats, or these are the 5 mawaqit, which means that we can only cross these mawaqit in the state of Ihram. So as far as the Baytul Haram is concerned, it is the biggest and the greatest site of Hajj. This is a building in the form of a cube, and hence it is called the Kaaba. It is located in the city of Mecca in Arabia. The Hajar Aswad, the black stone, is placed at one corner of this building. And after it, the northern corner of the building is called the Rukn Iraqi. The western corner is called the Rukn Shami, and the southern corner is called the Rukn Yamani. The door of the Baitullah is about 2 meters above the ground. The wall between this door and the Hajar Aswad is called the Multazim. This is like the doorstep of this divine shrine, embracing which the devotees invoke and beseech the Almighty. The building is generally covered by a black cloth, which is changed every year. This is the custom. There is a white stone in the courtyard of the building. It is said that Abraham stood on this very stone when he raised its foundations. Near that white stone is a natural fountain, which is called the Zamzam. Those who come for pilgrimage of the house, they quench their thirst from it. So the precincts of the Baytullah, they extend for several kilometers on all 4 sides and have always been known. All this area is called Haram. So the Baytullah, of course, is a place which we know, but beyond the Baytullah, there are, for several kilometers, there is these boundaries which extend, and they are called the Haram. And it is forbidden to harm any human being, animal, and even self-springing vegetation. It cannot be plucked from that area. The Quran has used the words Haraman Aminan for this very purpose. And let me also read out what the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said regarding this Haram and this city of Mecca. It says that this is the city which has been declared sacred by the Almighty ever since He created the heavens and the earth. It is sacred till the day of judgment because of this sanctity declared by God. No one before me was ever given the permission to wage war in it. For me too, this prohibition was lifted for a part of the day. Hence, it is sacred till the day of judgment because of this sanctity declared by God. Neither will its thorny trees be cut, nor its prey be chased for hunting, nor will anything found in it be picked, except if it is picked by someone in order to have it delivered to its owner, and nor will its grass be cut. So such is the sanctity which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has pointed out. Next we come to two other sites which are called Safa and Marwa. So these are two hillocks which are located very near the Baytullah. It was on the hillock of Marwa on which the Prophet Abraham attempted to sacrifice his son Ishmael, and as such this is the real place of slaughter, but it has been extended to Mina for the convenience of the pilgrims, and it is the tawaf of these two places, the Safa and Marwa, which is called the Sa'i. And so every round of Sa'i begins with Safa and it ends on Marwa. And as we shall see in a later module, what exactly is the philosophy of Sa'i, so that we become aware of how important this worship ritual is. Next, we come to Mina. This is a vast field between two hills and is situated about, generally it's said, at 5 kilometers from Mecca. The pilgrims stay here after they come from Mecca on the 8th of Zul-Hajj, and then again when they return from Arafat on the 10th of Zul-Hajj. So these are the 2 days. And during their stay in Mina, they complete the remaining rites of Hajj. Next we come to Arafat. This is also a vast field, and this is about 10 kilometers from Mina. It is here that the Imam of the Muslims delivers a sermon, and then till sunset the pilgrims stand here in a ceremonial, they stand here in a ceremonial way, and this is called the Waquf. Then we come to Muzdalifah. On the way to Mina, and you can see on the screens as well as these sites can tell you how they are arranged in a sequence, one after the other. So on the way to Mina, this is a second field. Muzdalifah is a second field where the pilgrims spend the night on their way back from Arafat. So when they return from Arafat, they go from Mina to Arafat, and from Arafat when they return, they stay the night in Muzdalifah. This is, we can say it's roughly situated halfway between Mina and Arafat. And the limits of the Haram actually start from here. When you approach the Haram, when you approach the Baytullah, these are the limits which start off the Haram. And for this very reason, Muzdalifah is also called the Mash'arul Haram, which is, of course, very befittingly called as for this very purpose, to delineate that the Haram extends until Muzdalifah. So finally we come to Jamarat. So these are the 3 columns which are situated in the middle of Mina, the field of Mina. The largest of these columns is called the Jamra al-Aqba. Then we have the Jamra al-Ukhra. The second and third are called Jamratul al-Ula and Jamratul Wusta. So the largest is called, the largest has 2 names. This is called Jamra al-Aqba or Jamra al-Ukhra. And the second and third, which come after this bigger one, they are called Jamratul Ula and Jamratul Wusta respectively. And after the pilgrims return from Arafat, they hurl stones at these columns. So these are, as far as the sites are concerned, a soft introduction was made to these sites. You can see from the illustration also before you how the path has been traced. And as far as the observance of rituals at these sites is concerned, this is something that inshallah in a later module we'll see how symbolically the Hajj ritual and its rites are carried out at these places and these sites, and how invigorating it is. And remember, as we said earlier on, that Hajj symbolizes our war with Satan. And basically, when we do Hajj, when we perform Hajj, offer Hajj, as we shall describe it in its methodology, it will become clear how it is like an army encamping from one place to another, and then finally ending its journey by hurling stones at Jamarat, symbolizing that this is Satan, who is our eternal enemy, and we are going to be at war with him forever. So inshallah, in the next module, we'll take up the methodology of Hajj and Umrah.